Season 5, Episode 1. I'm your host, Jake. Joining me, as always, is Dan, Greg, Julian, and Lerone.
Who's Greg?
Greg is the green egg.
Greg, why'd you
What?
why'd you change your name?
I didn't.
You've always been Greg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember during the
Sorry for calling you Mitch for so long.
Well, I was Mitch for a while, but I changed to Greg.
So it wasn't always Greg.
No, it was.
All right. Anyway,
I just lied when I said Mitch.
it's been a long time, but we're gonna jump right into some news before getting to our main topic of the night, where our good friend Julian here will be giving his review of Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Spoiler alert: the game's trash. Jake, I'm kidding.
So you don't want to miss out on that. It's going to be a roller coaster.
You'll laugh, you'll cry.
You'll feel something. All right, starting things off. Gonzalo Zero Barrios has left Twitch and moved to Facebook Gaming.
Okay.
Which is definitely a move I think none of us
Yeah.
I didn't even know
saw
there was a
coming.
Facebook.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was Facebook Gaming either. I think for a lot of us, and maybe that was the point.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely the point. They're like, hey, we exist.
Facebook
Wait,
Gaming.
what is did it exist before this?
Yes, because they got Disguised Toast before this.
Who?
Oh, Disguised Toast?
Yeah.
Wow.
Before I knew that, I thought this was like crazy, but now I know they've gotten him, and like makes more sense.
Yeah, I guess it like makes kind of sense.
So, yeah, Twitch is losing some streamers. I mean, Zero isn't quite, Ninja or Shroud level, but he's a decent sized streamer.
Yeah.
And now he's on Facebook Gaming, which, man, that video announcement, last time I checked, did not have a very good like to dislike ratio.
What is it now?
Let's take a look. 466 likes to 1,300 dislikes.
Oof.
So not excellent.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. Oh, there's definitely plenty of people who thought this was like a joke or an early April Fool's, because a lot of people had not heard of Facebook Gaming. But yeah, no, it's not.
It feels like a.
It sounds
like it could be an out of season April.
Yeah, it sounds like a parody. And like the thing I love about whenever any of these streamers move from one platform to another, they all make the same announcement video. Like exactly the same thing. Like they talk about how like what made the platform good or whatever, and it's all about the audience and it's all about the fans, and they all like pre-announce like, oh, I have an exciting announcement.
Yeah.
And then they drop this, and then it's never been a popular decision from anyone.
Did you watch the video, by the way?
I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
He said he's gonna give out shirts to all of his past subs on his old Twitch account. And like that's the compensation for getting booty blasted. Low.
Well, you know what? Somehow I had never considered that, like, when you move from one platform to another, like, you might have had some people who, like, just subbed to you and now are just not going to get their money's worth out of that subscription. It's kind of BS. Imagine you like super subbed to Ninja or something, drop $25, and then like 6 hours later he announces he's moving to Mixer.
Yeah.
Because if I remember correctly, he streamed on Twitch the day before like the Mixer announcement. So like he probably got subs, and he probably said thank you.
And he knew. What a horrible person.
And he knew what was happening the next day. I wonder if those people were like had like a path to refunds or something. I don't know. So I had like not thought about that angle. But
Anyway, what does Zero even like do as far as streams go nowadays? Like,
He's
he's
a
a-
variety these days.
He's
He's
a
a-
variety streamer.
he's a variety
He was
streamer.
holding like at least 2 to 3K. Play whatever he wanted.
I mean, it's great for Zero, but like I cared
Why?
about what Zero's doing in a very, very long.
I just find this move just kind of entertaining. I don't know. It's very odd.
It just came out of nowhere.
It definitely came out of nowhere.
Armada says Zero wouldn't make this decision without. He says he has good business sense.
Yeah,
So I'm assuming
that's like I was following a bit of the Twitter discourse on this, and that was basically the Twitter discourse. Is like, this is a terrible decision for his fans, but he's getting a fat paycheck. Like,
Yeah, that's what this is all about. This is
that's fully okay.
this is what Facebook gaming looks like for anyone who is wondering. It looks exactly like Facebook. But there it is. So I definitely saw some comments like, "Oh hey, now my favorite streamer's on Facebook gaming. Guess I can never get to watch my favorite streamer again."
That's just hyperbolic.
I mean, people definitely hate Facebook, and
That's fair.
for pretty good reasons. So I could see people wanting to not give Facebook gaming attention. Shout out to our sponsor, Facebook Gaming. So good for Zero, great move. Facebook Gaming's the future. Moving on in the news, Riot.
You said that.
Riot Games to pay $10 million in settlement in gender discrimination suit. So it's both a big and not that big settlement, but it definitely means that Riot was definitely they definitely had a very strong case against them. Apparently. So all the employees who are part of the suit will be rewarded between $10,000 and $20,000. So that's pretty good.
not a bad chunk of change.
Yeah. There are actually still 2 open lawsuits though, because there were 2 women at Riot who opted not to be part of the class action. So they are still in litigation with Riot. So who knows what'll happen with them. But yeah, I mean, and apparently they were happy with the settlement, and so hopefully Riot will change, I guess. That's all I got. And that's it cost them. And I think they've kind of shown that they won't be able to, if they do it again, they'll just sue them again. And man, is that second case way easier than the first one. So, keep in line, Riot. Speaking of gaming companies, Half-Life Alyx has been announced.
Did you know we're a gaming podcast?
Yes, we are.
We're sponsored by Facebook.
Oh, so
All
we're a
hail the Zuck.
Facebook pod.
Zuck the suck.
So our data is going to be sold to Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah, same with our likenesses, actually, have been sold to Cambridge Analytica.
Sick.
So they can just pretend to be us, and that's okay.
That's not okay.
All hail Facebook.
What? Hold on.
All right, Half-Life Alyx. This is exciting for a few reasons. Obviously, it's a new Half-Life game for the first time in how many years?
I mean, is it?
It's not Half-Life 3, but it is a new Half-Life game, which is cool. It's not a Half-Life 3. It's a prequel sequel. It's Half-Life 1.5. It's in between Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2. So, a prequel to Half-Life 2, a post-quel to Half-Life 1. But it is entirely a VR title. So this is one of the first like full fat AAA VR titles, which is exciting. Hopefully, I'm excited to see what comes of this because it's exactly what the VR world needs to really reach the mainstream audience is like super heavy hitters like this. So I'm excited to see what Valve brings to the table. Valve usually doesn't take on a game project unless they think it's going to be good, it seems, because they haven't released very many bad games. So,
Have they released a bad game ever?
Yeah, what's the worst game Half-Life's ever?
the worst game Half-Life's ever released?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
Was there a mobile game ever?
Worst game Valve's ever released. They haven't released very many games.
I mean, what is it?
Artifact. It's Artifact.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I
they
like
did.
forgot
Forgot
about that game. Yeah. Oh well, that was an easier question than I thought. All right, quick poll.
Well,
What's the
what is-
best Valve game?
People start Portal 2.
Yeah,
That's got to be my number one pick.
Valve's made like a lot of. Oh wait, no, never mind.
I mean, I think
Half-Life 2, TF2.
Yeah, what about TF1? No one talks about that. Is that?
No one talks about that
I
game.
have no. I don't know if I've ever seen gameplay of Team Fortress 1. I played hundreds of hours of Team Fortress 2. I've never really thought about Team Fortress 1. It must exist.
Must it?
I guess that's true. Maybe they just went straight for 2.
Team Fortress Classic is a 1999 first-person shooter game developed and released by Valve.
Oh, that's pretty old.
Yeah.
When did
This is
TF2 come out though? TF2 was like what, like 2006 or something like that? 2005.
2007, October 10th, 2007.
Yeah, that game's still going strong. 12 years, pretty good. All right, enough about that. The main news topic: Google Stadia has soft launched. Well, I should say it's launched. The non-free tier has launched. There we go. You can get Stadia Premier Edition right now, but I would not recommend doing that at
Why not,
all.
Jay?
For $130, you would be much, much better off either going to a what you may call it, like a gaming cafe, like what's a there's a term for it that
Internet cafe?
yeah, I wanted to say internet cafe, but that sounds like like the place where you play games, or you like rent computer time, you can play games. Spend your $130 on one of those.
Or give it to me.
Don't get Stadia.
Yeah, give it to me.
I earned it, damn it.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Stadia has been wrought with problems on its release here.
But Google tells me I can play 4K games on any of my devices lag free. No downloads required.
Did you know that that's not true? You
What?
will have lots of lag. I want to point out a few things. So, Google must be at least somewhat aware of the limitations and problems that Stadia has, right? Like, they've done testing. They've gone out and tried this in random locations, I'm sure. I'm sure they have an idea of how bad can be on Stadia. And it's possible that it was worse once a bunch of people were trying to hit it all at once. But even then, that really shouldn't be the case because of how Stadia works, since each person is playing on their own machine. So you shouldn't actually be sharing resources with anyone, except for bandwidth, which Google has plenty of. So, I'm watching you, Google. But yeah, it's a laggy mess. And what's funny is they included some rhythm games in like the initial launch of games and fighting games.
Bro,
Two games
Samurai
that are
Showdown is a launch game. What are they thinking?
Samurai Showdown is on there. Thumper is on there. Can you imagine trying to play that game on with like a second of latency and like frame drops?
Yeah.
And like Stadia, like okay, so in 4K, Stadia is actually struggling to run games. So there are some cases where you might be able to run the game on a higher frame rate on your own shitty PC than how they're running on Stadia. And Google is being quick to point at the developers and say they need to optimize better. But like they should have they get to decide what's in the lineup. Even if it hadn't been optimized well enough, Google shouldn't have put it in the launch. They just wanted to pad the numbers, the number of games. Probably because of xCloud, the Xbox streaming thing. Sony's got one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Or actually, I don't know if it's like actually out yet. Like I think it's coming out.
I mean, Sony's had one for a while, but like I'm not sure. But like they're doing a new one or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, because Sony has like a PlayStation only one that's only used for playing like
Yeah,
PlayStation 3 games.
PlayStation
Yeah,
Now.
PlayStation Now. That's it. So I don't know. It's fraught with a lot of the problems we suspected we would see when Stadia was announced. Might have given Google a little bit too much credit. In that I was like, oh, if anyone's going to be able to do it, it's maybe Google. I am starting to no longer believe that to some degree, in part because Google has this habit of just like, if a product doesn't work out great right away, they just kind of kill it off. So it wouldn't surprise me if a year from now Stadia was just gone.
We thought
we'll see.
Google would actually like beta test this product. Little did we know, the launch was the beta test.
I mean, Google always does that.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you spent $130 like pre-ordering Stadia, I don't know what you were thinking. I don't know what you were hoping this was going to be. Also, apparently the controller's kind of ass, so don't waste your money.
Love it.
But Jacksepticeye says that this is the future of gaming, and he loves it.
Was he paid to say that?
Yes, he was paid to say that.
Excellent.
Well,
with that, I think we're going to transition into our main topic of the week. Can't play this game on Stadia. That's right, the one, the only Pokemon Sword and Shield. Julian, take it away.
Okay, so I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this. So I guess I'm going to start off with like my history with Pokemon. So I've been like a lifelong fan of Pokemon. I've played every generation. I played Blue, I played Crystal. What else have I played? Ruby, Fire Red, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, White, X, Sun, and now Sword. And then I played the spin-off games, the TCG, Hey You Pikachu, Stadium 2, Puzzle League, and Battle Revolution. And like, I'm not like a casual fan either. Like I know about IVs and EVs and stuff. And, you know, I've dabbled in competitive Smogon, but like I've never like actually gone to VGC or whatever. So like, I would say I'm qualified to do this review. You know, not trying to be cocky. So yeah, you guys know like where I'm at with my background here. Okay, so like in summary, I just wrote a paragraph about this. Pokemon Sword and Shield offer various improvements in the quality of life aspects of Pokemon, especially from a competitive standpoint, but are lacking in other areas. In some cases, the animations and visuals look fantastic, but in others, they look like they're ripped off from a Nintendo 64 game. The story is nothing special, however, the wild area provides a very fun experience, especially in earlier parts of the game. The game's quote-unquote improvements offer little justification for removing over half of the Pokemon, a core feature for all the games starting from Generation 2. along with the removal of other features. However, the game is not the horrible mess that the internet makes it out to be. It's an average Pokemon game with various amount of baffling development decisions. If I were to give it a review score, I'd give it like a 5 or 6 out of 10. Okay, that's like in short.
Oh.
Oh yeah, like a 5 is like average in my opinion.
Yeah, internet uses the American grading system where 70% is an average.
7 is average.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
What I don't understand is, before I like get into like details about why I gave it like a 5 or 6 out of 10, like why are journalists giving this like a 9 out of 10? Like were they paid off?
If they give it the wrong rating, people will send them death threats. That's gaming journalism for you.
I mean, sure, the game's fun, but you can play other Pokemon games and have a similar experience and have as much fun, and they're $40 and this is $60. You know,
That's one of the things that bothers me, but I guess yeah.
Okay, so
There we go. Now we got the stream graphics.
yeah. I guess I should have had a presentation for this, but I'm just gonna talk. So the story, it's pretty ass. So at its core, Pokemon Sword offers a bare bones story that does not reach the heights of games like Pokemon Black. That question the morality of capturing Pokemon against their will. You're a preteen/adolescent set out to complete the gym challenge by collecting all 8 badges, defeating the champion, and completing the Pokedex. You have a rival, yada yada yada. You know, standard Pokemon game. You guys can stop me, by the way, if I'm like, you have any questions? Okay.
With you so far.
This is much higher quality work than we normally do.
Along the way, I guess what makes this game, the story different about this game, like you learn about the history of the Galar region. In summary, there's a hero who fought back in ancient darkness with a sword and shield, but actually the hero was, spoilers, by the way. Like, does anyone care about like?
I've already spoiled the game.
I know the story, so Dan's the only.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get the game for a long time if I ever do get it.
Okay. Yeah, but actually the hero was 2 Pokemon that fought the darkness. The hero being the 2 Pokemon is incredibly obvious to anyone above the age of 5. The evil team is not necessarily evil, but are just fans of one of your rivals, Marnie. We'll get to her. And the 2 villains, spoilers, is the chairman who sponsors you, Chairman Rolls, who wants to resurrect Eternatus, an ancient evil legendary Pokemon, in order to solve a Galarian energy crisis. This is just thrown at you at the end of the game without like any sprinkles of like apparently there's an energy crisis in the Galar region, and the game just kind of tells you that at the end of the game. There's no sprinkles of this throughout the game or whatever.
There's that like giant exposition dump.
Yep.
right at the end.
I think they tried to go for what they did with the Aether Foundation in Pokemon Sun, where like they were there in the beginning of the game, the Aether Foundation. So like, they were like established, right? In this game, you literally don't know the name of the true evil team until that exposition dump.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and they're called Macrocosmos, which is I found funny because that's the name of a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Yeah, the post game is just bad. You find out they're like, okay, when I wrote this down, I was like trying to be funny. You find out these randos who pissed off their barber because they have like a sword and shield haircut. It's not funny when I read it.
It would have been funny with a visual aid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what they look like, so it works.
Okay. Anyway, there are these randos come out of nowhere. Apparently, they're the descendants of the first king of the Galarian region, and they're running around making Pokemon Dynamax in gym stadiums in order to control the Galar region. So you might ask, how does like turning Pokemon? I didn't explain Dynamaxing. But I'll get to that later in the review. So Dynamaxing is it's like the gimmick of this gen where you make a Pokemon bigger, and it has different moves.
So Julian, how is that different than Mega or whatever?
The Mega it's like a combination of Mega Evolutions and Z moves. Which I'll get to. But that's not important right now. But yeah, these two like descendants of the Galarian King, they're running around Dynamaxing Pokemon, and in order to gain control of the Galar region, and they don't really explain how that gives them the control of the Galar region. You know, they just kind of do it. Also, you find out one of the characters, Sonia, she has an assistant. She's the Pokemon professor. She becomes a Pokemon professor. Spoilers. And she has an assistant, and the assistant betrays you. She ends up working with these guys. And I wouldn't call it obvious, but it just felt kind of flat because they don't really establish her character at all. You know,
Yeah.
she's just kind of there. And when you fight all the Dynamax Pokemon, you don't even get to catch them, which I found a weird decision. So, yeah, I mean that's essentially the story. Are there any questions? Did I confuse anyone?
There's not much to it.
Okay. So the good thing I'll say about the story are the character arcs.
Character arcs.
You're not gonna say Hop, are you?
Yeah,
Please no.
Hop. Actually, like, why you didn't like it? Did you after watching like Alpha Rad's playthrough or something?
I mean,
That's heavily biased, but yeah.
I mean, it. The thing is, his arc was like really short. I mean, like it was decent, but like also it wasn't until like the last like 2% of the game. At least that's the impression I got. Because Hop seemed like he was just kind of the same. Like beating his head. Oh, I can beat you. No, I can't. I can beat you. No, I can't. I can beat you. No, I can't. For like most of the game.
He experiences loss like midway through the story. But the majority of the time he goes, "Yeah, I can beat you," but he doesn't. He kind of like there's like a midpoint in the game where he questions himself because he like experiences a hard loss. He like, and there's a thing with him when he switches his team around a lot because he's not confident in his team and in his strategies. What I found, not like game changer or anything, but it was nice to see, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of like that, or the concept of a rival who has like a rotating team / constantly changing team.
Yeah. Arnie's just kind of there. She's a cool character, I guess, but she doesn't really do much. I mean, you have this whole thing with her. When you go to the 7th gym in Spike Month, where you find out like the gym leader's her brother. That's about it. I mean,
what? Could you?
Yeah, the gym leader is her brother.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said the gym leaders, which was an incomprehensible sentence.
Oh yeah, I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, you kind of completely cut out.
Oh.
So that was an
I thought you
incomprehensible
said
sentence.
the gym leaders were.
Wow, you cut off at the exact same point in your sentence.
Yeah.
The gym leaders were rubber.
Oh,
Rubber?
That's
Yo,
what I heard Julian
how
say.
did that happen?
So that was incomprehensible to me, and I was like, "What?"
Okay. Yeah, stop me if I'm like talking too fast or anything. Team Yell, I mentioned before. They follow Marnie around and they're fanboys of her. And they cause mischief around the Galar region because they want Marnie to become the champion. So they try to make it easy for her. Yeah, I don't really like Yell. Because their whole purpose is just to prop up Marnie.
Team Yell is
Like
the singers?
The singers?
Or
They're the
is that
dudes
some-
in like the punk rock
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they sing at like their own gym, right?
Well, Piers, Marnie's
Yeah.
brother, he does the singing.
But without actual singing.
without actual
Yeah,
singing.
yes. That's-
One of the most jarring cutscenes in the whole game.
Yeah, it's,
When they like get out a microphone and they're like singing and there's not singing or really music. Very weird.
yeah, I'll get to that. It's pretty bad. It's one of the worst cutscenes in the game. What was I saying? Team Yell. Okay, the other evil teams in their Pokemon games, they had better goals. Like Team Aqua and Team Magma and Ruby and Sapphire. Team Magma wanted to expand the Earth.
Is that really a better goal than like rooting for someone?
I'd say so. At least like
You talking about Team
For
Yell?
a
Right?
children's
yeah. I don't know,
mean-
man. I feel like they could have did a lot more with Team Yell and not just.
I feel like Team Yell's goal is more realistic than expand the sea.
That is true, but
And then once they expanded the sea, they're like, "Oh God, we've made a horrible mistake." So I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna say you should give the villains of the past games much credit.
I mean, like, I feel okay. So I haven't played Sword and Shield, but I think the last two games have kind of had joke teams.
Yeah, I agree.
Team Skull was just like edgy kids being edgy, led by like an edgy grandpa.
Well, welcome to Team Yell.
Welcome to Team Yell. Yep.
yeah.
Not the grandpa part.
And then I liked Team Flare though, who was also a silly team, although their goals were kind of dark.
I don't even remember Team Flare's.
They
goal,
wanted to
like-
kill everyone who wasn't beautiful,
Who wasn't
but also they
beautiful,
just
right.
wanted.
See, that's like evil, you know. I don't view Team Yell as evil. I just view them as idiots.
No, they're not. They're not evil.
Yeah.
They're not okay. They're not menacing. You know. I guess you couldn't call the other teams menacing either, but I don't know. Like their goal was darker. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Team Yell is they're my least favorite evil team in any Pokemon game.
That's what they look like. In case you haven't seen them, Dan.
I think I did. No. Wow.
They're not menacing looking at all. I guess I could open that up on the stream. That's so you have a visual of Team Yell when Julian's talking about them. This is what Team Yell looks like.
That's what they look like. Yeah. Let's see. Bede. He's your other rival in this game. I actually kind of like Bede. He's like the douchebag rival that people want in Pokemon games. And he like goes through an arc where like he's really like arrogant. Even when you beat him. But then he gets tricked by Chairman Rose's assistant, Oleana, into like mining something. They didn't really make this clear. He uses a Pokemon to mine something, and Chairman Rose disqualifies him because he's doing like underhanded activity. Eventually, one of the gym leaders picks him up and like trains him under her wing, and by the end of the game, he becomes the new gym leader. Under like, because she wanted a replacement, and she finds him, and she makes him her replacement, which I thought was neat. Marnie also becomes the gym leader of her brother's gym, even though her brother didn't really need to pass it to her, but whatever. So there's also Sonia, who is introduced as a professor's assistant. She like gives you she's researching the Galar region about like the history of it and stuff. You meet her throughout the game. She doesn't really go through an arc, but like she doesn't change as a character. But by the end of it, she becomes a Pokemon professor because the old professor's old and she needs a replacement. So yeah, the good thing about this story, I guess, is the character progression. Yeah. if I had to like give it a pro, but besides that, I didn't really find it all that impressive. So yeah, am I making sense? Are there any questions or
With you so far.
Oh, I didn't mention the gym leaders either. The gym leaders are, as characters, they're fine. Like some of them have quirks. Like Opal, the fairy gym leader who trains Bede. When you go through her gym, you get asked questions, which if you get it wrong, it lowers your stats. Okay? And then when you fight her, she gives you the question like, "Are you like how old am I?" And she's clearly like an elderly woman. So the options are either 88 years old or 16 years old. And if you pick 88 years old, she gets offended, and that was the wrong answer, so she lowers your stats. I found that funny. It's a little quirky thing the game did. Rayhan, the dragon type gym leader, his fight's kind of trash, but his character's kind of funny because he takes selfies of himself when he Dynamaxes, and at the end when he beat him, he's like, "Oh, I should have took a selfie." Yeah. So
Pokemon getting hit. How
Pokemon
do
getting
you
hit.
fellow?
So yeah, I'm repeating myself, but the story's not that great, but it has like sprinkles of entertainment. Okay, the main thing, the gameplay. It's just a mainline Pokemon game at its core. It's turn-based, super effective moves do double damage. You collect 8 gems. You don't fight the Elite Four. There is no Elite Four in this game. There's like a boss rush at the end. Didn't like that. And you defeat the champion. Okay, here's where I explain Dynamaxing. I kind of already talked about this again. Dynamaxing is essentially a combination of Mega Evolutions and Z moves. Mega Evolutions and Z moves. It makes your Pokemon bigger, and the Pokemon gets more powerful versions of the added effects. So in singles, Dynamaxing is pretty broken. At least is what I've heard. I haven't tried out Dynamaxing in singles. I've really only played it.
I heard that they're gonna ban Dynamaxing, but not Gigantamaxing.
For Smogon?
Yeah, or something.
Yeah. Why not Gigantamaxing?
Apparently, it's not broken.
Okay. I wouldn't know. I haven't played singles. I've been playing doubles, but in doubles, Dynamaxing is actually really fun. I'd say it's like a nice in between Mega Evolutions and Z moves. Yeah, but in the game, it's just kind of. It's not a bad mechanic in game. It's just kind of It's kind of there, you know.
The premier feature of the game.
Yeah.
Kind of there.
The wild area. The wild area is like the best. It's the most fun that I had, in game. I'd say.
So what's the
like-
wild area exactly?
It's this, like, area that you can go to, like, I think when you get like the first or second gym, where you can encounter like Pokemon up to like level 60.
It's the open area, right? The open.
Yeah,
world?
the open area. You can walk around it and encounter Pokemon of higher level than what you should be in the game. Like,
time by climbing ladders.
well, that's
The game lacks
just
polish.
throughout the game. Yeah, that's just throughout the game, but that's not just in the wild area. So, like, for example, if you have like the 3rd gym badge, like you can find Pokemon that are like level 60 and, fight them, but you can't catch them.
So dumb.
Which I don't know how.
Right,
I understand. Oh, go ahead.
Really, I don't think I was just countering Mitch's thing. Like my gut reaction to that isn't that it's dumb that you can't catch them, because then you'd have overleveled Pokemon.
Yeah.
Well, 2 points to that is that you have overleveled Pokemon already. Just how the game
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, but you
could just
have
use the
to take
obedience
time to
system.
get overleveled.
They're not grossly overleveled. Well, they shouldn't be grossly
And
overleveled.
they could just use the obedience system.
The obedience system? Oh,
Yeah.
you mean like they don't listen to your moves?
Yeah, they could just
Yeah.
apply that.
I would prefer that because you can encounter shinies.
You're not supposed to be able
And then
to,
you
but
can't catch
it happens.
Oh, you're not supposed to be able. I thought like
It's a
someone on
bug that
Reddit.
you can do it.
Oh, it's a bug. Oh, okay. Well, I shouldn't listen to Reddit. Okay.
That's what the Reddit post said.
Oh, okay. Well, I should read the Reddit post. Yeah, I agree with Mitch. You should be able to catch them, but they shouldn't be able to listen to you.
That's one opinion, but yeah.
I agree with you.
And also, again, I haven't played the game, so I'm kind of asking and stating at the same time. What other people are saying is that with the experience share, you get so powerful so quickly that nothing can touch you, and you just steamroll.
Yeah. The experience share should have been optional.
It's not optional.
No,
No.
it's not optional.
It's always been optional.
Yeah,
Not
they
anymore.
changed it.
If the quote from the tip was, if you don't want to use experience share, put the other Pokemon in the box.
Yep.
What?
To be fair, you do carry the box with you in the wild area.
You carry the box around with you
Yeah,
everywhere.
you have access to it everywhere.
Oh, that does change things.
Yes, that
I mean,
makes sense.
I still disagree, but like, I could see where it's from.
I disagree
It's-
entirely with
yeah.
Masuda.
Yeah. It's just weird.
If I had, I shouldn't have to switch out my Pokemon if I don't want to get a challenge. Just make it optional. I understand. Where was I? Oh, okay. I was talking about max raid battles too. You can encounter that in the wild area. So, Pokemon has raid battles now, where you encounter a Dynamax or Gigantamax Pokemon in the wild area. You can fight it with up to 3 friends. These fights are generally hard because these Pokemon have shields. Well, the 5-star raids are pretty hard. I can't really do them by myself. But like they get shields and you have to break their shield. You know, and they have higher stats, so your moves do less damage. They're pretty fun, I'd say. My biggest gripe with it is that you only have one chance to catch the Pokemon after you beat it.
Really?
Yes. I don't know
Well,
why
that
they
was
did
A
that.
lot of risk reward.
Yeah. So, you know, Game Freak making another baffling developer decision, like I said in the introduction. I will say about Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing, it doesn't feel as creative as Mega Evolution. You know, I know Gigantamaxing, the Pokemon have different forms, but the forms in Mega Evolutions I feel were more creative.
I gotcha. Because I mean, that was a new form, right? Compared to just upscaling
Yeah.
them and making them red with some clouds.
Yeah, but Gigantamaxing, they get bigger, and then they have a new form. But then the forms are just kind of like Gigantamax Garbodor just turns into a bigger pile of garbage with like toy planes in it.
Yeah,
Meow.
that's
Meow.
quality.
I mean, I think the Gigantamax is fine. I like it.
It's but I feel they could have been more creative with it. I know Game Freak can
How
do
many
it.
how many are there? Because I know like only a small subsection of Pokemon can Gigantamax.
It's like around 20 something, I think.
Was Mega Evolutions more?
I don't know.
I think
have to,
so.
like fact check you. Yeah. I mean,
Kind of like Mega Evolution.
eventually they added more Mega Evolutions, but initially, are you asking initially when they introduced it, or like?
Yeah, I guess that's the only fair comparison.
So
Yeah, I'm not sure how many Mega Evolutions they introduced initially. So, sorry, go ahead.
I'm looking it up.
Hmm.
Introduced in XY 1, 2.
I'm looking up the Gigantamax Pokemon right now, so I'll continue talking so we don't have dead air. What else? I can talk more about
26.
Oh, so it sounds like it's probably on par then.
Yeah.
That's all I was after. Carry on.
Okay. I'll talk more about the quality of life changes. You can change natures now.
Shit.
Natures.
Yeah. You give a Pokemon a mint and it changes their nature, which is huge for competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes
Go ahead.
breeding
It makes
Pokemon a
breeding
lot
easier.
less of a pain in the ass, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
I have to? Should I explain like what natures are and why they're important, or like?
Sure.
Okay, so each Pokemon has a different nature. The natures either they raise one stat and lower another, except for like 4 of them which do nothing. So, say for example, I wanted to like raise like a sweeper special Dragapult, right? I would want a nature that raises its special attack and lowers its attack, because I don't care about attack, I care about special attack, so I want that to be, as high as it can be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in the past, you would have to breed or use synchronize, which is another method of getting natures, to get the nature that you want. But now you can just change it with mints. But the problem is that the mints are pretty expensive. They're 50 battle points. And so you'd have to like go through the battle tower a significant amount if you want to change your Pokemon's nature. So, yeah, I think Steve said this, so I'm echoing him, but they should have been 25 BP. So
Instead of 10.
instead of 50.
Oh, I see what. Yeah. Oh, you're saying the Ember should be 25.
Yeah, it should have been 25 and not 50. It shouldn't have been that.
So it's like a major. It's a major grind to actually. So it's still a bit of a grind to get.
Yeah, it's still a bit of a grind.
But is it?
Yeah.
It's at least it's a lot less, right?
Yeah, it's a lot less.
Well, like I feel like this means you don't have to soft reset and recatch.
Soft reset legendary.
Like you're not gonna. You're probably going only. You're probably still gonna breed Pokemon because 50 battle points probably takes longer than breeding for.
Yeah, you still need good IVs. Like, yeah, breeding Pokemon. You still need to breed Pokemon.
Yeah. And like when you're breeding Pokemon for good IVs, you'll get the right nature before you get perfect IVs. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. IVs are still a pain.
So this is like just a really good way to get legendaries that you catch to have the right nature instead of soft resetting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like it.
Yeah. I just wish they were less expensive.
I like it, and I don't mind the price point.
Okay.
But I also don't have the game, so ignore my.
You can also raise your Pokemon's EVs through like protein and carbos and stuff. You couldn't do that before. In the past, you'd have to do like mini games to raise your Pokemon's EVs, which I have to explain what EVs are. So EVs are stats that Pokemon get after you battle another Pokemon. Say, for example, you fight like a Zubat. I think you get speed EVs. You get like 2 speed EVs.
I thought Zubat was attack.
You can like fact check me on that, because I never really EV trained, but it's not the important part.
Yeah, it's speed.
Yeah, it's speed. Yeah. But yeah, so you defeat the Zubat, and those stats go into your speed stat. And when your Pokemon levels up, it'll gain more of that speed stat because you have speed EVs. Does that make sense? Okay. And the max EVs you can get in one stat is, I believe it's 252.
It used to be 255, but you get 1 stat point for every 4, so you'd only want to get to 252, and
Right.
then they changed it to 250.
Right. And that's really important for competitive, because in competitive you need to have, high stat mons or as best as they can be, you know. So, you know, Game Freak throwing more bones to competitive players because they've been doing that throughout the years, and you know, you can max out a Pokemon's EVs through the stat raising items like Carbos and Protein. However,
Before you were capped at 100, just like for a little bit of context, you could get 100 EVs through those items, but you couldn't get any.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that. Okay. But yeah, however, these items are also expensive. But these cost Poké Dollars and not battle points. And Poké Dollars are a lot easier to get, especially if you have a Gigantamax Meowth, because it's one of its moves is like Gigantamax Payday, and you get a lot of money after you defeat your opponent. So yeah, basically, if you're not a competitive player, you can like what I said might have like glazed over you, but what I'm trying to say is that they've made quality of life improvements to the competitive aspect of Pokemon, which is appreciated.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Yeah, they haven't really done much with IVs. And I have to explain what IVs are. So,
Didn't you do
Ivy.
this in your How to Make Pokemon Good video?
I did, but
I could just reference that.
okay.
Yeah, go watch that if you want to
Go
know
watch
what
that.
IVs are.
Now, okay, in Gen 7, they did something called hyper training, where like you can max out a Pokemon's IVs through bottle caps if you get them to level 100 and then hyper train them. But it was kind of a hassle to get bottle caps. Now it's easier to get bottle caps, but
Pretty big hassle to get bottle caps.
sorry, go ahead. What?
I just said it was a really big hassle to get bottle.
Yeah, I think bottle caps are available in the battle shop. I'm pretty sure they are. I haven't really IV trained yet, so someone fact check me. But yeah, you still kind of want to breed, because like you still have to get your Pokemon to level 100 in the first place, which they did make getting experience easier, because there's these things called experience candies now, which just give your Pokemon experience, but you have to get them through raid battles, you know. So yeah, again, Game Freak throwing little bones here and there. I wish they would do a little more with IVs, but yeah, that is appreciated. Okay, another thing they did right with the gameplay. I feel like I'm going over you guys' heads. If you guys want to stop me or anything, just let me know.
Stupid. Me don't understand.
The online system. It's decent. It's good. So there's a rank system now in Pokemon. There's never been something like this, unless it was fan made, like Smogon. So there are tiers now. So you compete in rank battles. There's Pokeball tier, Great Ball tier, Master Ball, or Ultra Ball tier, then Master Ball tier. Okay, and once you hit a tier, you can't drop out of it.
Ever?
Which is great. Ever. No, you cannot drop out of that tier. Yeah.
They're not even like
doing you lose 100 times in a row, and like you're clearly like.
Yeah, wait. What happens on the season changes? Because they are doing seasons, right?
Yeah, they are doing seasons. I'm pretty sure they reset.
Okay, so
okay.
Yeah, which is good. That is a good compromise, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100% agree.
And the battles are, you know, I haven't experienced lag, but you know, I don't really. It's Pokemon.
I mean, it's a turn-based game, so like.
Yeah.
They're literally sending a file with inputs, essentially.
Yeah.
That can be read at their leisure.
But there is a battle timer, and the way they implemented this battle timer is pretty stupid.
Real time.
Yeah, it's a real-time battle timer that doesn't pause during animations. And some of the animations take a long time, like Dynamaxing.
What? I just do not understand that design decision. What? It's so terrible.
Weird choice. You submit your move. You have a timer that counts down until you submit your move.
Yeah,
there's a and then it stops counting down once you submitted your moves. Like it should just be.
Yeah.
And now there's a total timer for the whole match.
Yep.
And what exactly
happens
happens?
when
The total time.
What,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
what exactly happens when that timer expires?
I think the person with the most Pokemon wins, and I don't know if there's a tie. I don't know. I
Probably
think the person with the most HP wins. I think
So you could just
you can
Just
yeah,
like-
and just all teams. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a meta around people stalling.
Now in doubles, this doesn't really seem that bad. I haven't really experienced any issues with the timer, but in singles, I've seen problems.
Hopefully
So-
they'll change that.
They're not going to change it. It's Game Freak.
Maybe they'll change it next season.
I-
Hmm?
I highly doubt it. It's Game Freak.
We'll
I
s-
highly doubt it. It's Game Freak.
Hey, at least this one's on a console that's easier to do updates with than the 3D. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm trying to give them the most benefit of the doubt I can, but
Okay. Now I'm gonna get into like some of my gripes with this game.
Ooh, here we go.
There's no GTS,
all right, you're gonna have to spell that one out for me.
Global Trading System.
Oh,
So in
yeah.
the past,
Why? Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, I know Dan is screaming right now for good reason. I don't know why I think they did this because they had to push this game for deadlines and didn't have time to put in the GTS. That's my opinion. Don't quote me on that as being fact. Okay. The global trading system. So back in Gen 4, Game Freak introduced a system where you could leave a Pokemon in the global trading system and request a trade for it. Okay? Which was very useful, especially for those who wanted to complete their decks. Now there are issues with the global trading system, specifically for people who would like put in like a Pidgey and expect like a level 100 Arceus, you know?
Mhm.
But
Those will always be the first ones you see, right? You have to scroll past them.
yeah, you have to scroll past them. But you know, you
Oh,
can
every
eventually
time.
come up with decent trades, you know. And I that's what I used in Sun and Moon to complete my Pokedex. Now you just in Sword and Shield, you look for a person to trade with, and if they don't have the Pokemon you want, you just cancel the trade and find someone else.
Mm.
Baffling game design decision. Why did they do this? Because they had to make deadlines, in my opinion.
But they still have Wonder Trading.
Wonder trading is still a thing. I love wonder trading.
Well,
Yeah,
I think it's the best feature
Wonder
they've
Trading.
ever added to the game.
Yeah. But yeah, no GTS is terrible. Awful.
Question.
Second gripe. No voice acting. Okay. The Pokemon
What
Company
year?
is the most profitable media franchise in the world. They can afford voice acting.
They have an anime.
There's an
The thing is,
anime.
The games aren't that profitable. It's the show and the merchandise that is.
But they
the
can
games
funnel
simply
that
to
money into the
exist.
games, right?
Also, the
They're
games are
not
plenty
economic.
profitable. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Okay, in comparison to the rest, is what I meant.
Okay. But still, they should be able to afford voice actors.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
especially since there's not even that much dialogue in this game.
Yeah.
It's
There
the
really
cutscenes.
isn't.
The
Yeah, even if
they're
they
cutscenes.
just did it in the if they just did it in the cutscenes, that'd be fine.
That would have been fine. That's what most RPGs do. They just do it. Well,
Yeah,
a lot of
Dragon
them do.
Quest.
They do it during the cutscenes,
Yeah.
which is fine.
It's crazy how like similar this game is to Dragon Quest in the like the overworld bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty. Most people like were comparing this to Dragon Quest. Like, oh, you could pay $60 for Pokemon, which is a run-of-the-mill Pokemon game with baffling design decisions, or pay $60 for
The
Dragon Quest, which is actually like a
games
good game.
actually could catch the monsters
And you could catch some monsters in what?
in the old Dragon Quest games. I don't know why they took it out of this one. You could do it in 8 with specific ones, but whatever. That's a discussion for another time.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, there's no voice acting. Jake mentioned this earlier. There's this one scene with Piers, who was Marnie's brother. I talked about this earlier. He's a singer, and he's singing, but there's no voice acting.
No,
And
it's so weird.
It's so weird to see. Like,
Cause they like have him like doing the mouth movements and he's like yelling into this mic and it's just like
They
Yeah.
have, like,
there's like a band playing in the background and there's just nothing for that.
It's 2019. Zelda has voice acting. Mario even has like grunts and sounds. Okay, like come on, Game
Lane
Freak.
sings a song.
Yeah,
There
Mario has
are songs in
songs.
Pokemon. I'm sorry, in Mario. Game Freak get voice acting. Okay. Some other small improvements before I get into the main meat. I know I've skipped over this. You know, the national decks. I'll talk about that. Okay. There's an area in the wild area that respawns evolutionary items. Like you can get like a Firestone and a Waterstone and a Thunderstone every day.
Okay.
Thought that was cool. The Pokedex gives you recommendations on Pokemon to catch.
Okay.
Neat addition. Cool. I might be like dumb, but you can't move around your moves in battles anymore. Like I tried doing that and you can't do that, which is a very small gripe, but I don't. That was something I used in game. It's just a minor annoyance.
Can it be done out of battle?
Yeah, you can do it out of battle, but you can't do it in battle, which you
I don't know
could
how
do
to
that
go
in the
about
past.
I've never once done that in battle. I
That's the only
did
time
not
I've
know
ever-
that.
Yeah, which I know
I'll
it's
go
not a
to
big
mash
deal.
A and I'll just like taunt or something. I'm like, shit, I'm just move it around, and then I'll mash it again.
So yeah, what I'm trying to say is this game is a mix of good and bad in terms of gameplay. I'd say mostly bad with all of these design decisions that I do not agree with. But it's still fun. Okay, it's still a Pokemon game. You're gonna have fun with it.
So I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
So I brought up your Make Pokemon Great Again presentation. And I have opened the slide that you had of what were the problems in the first place. And I want to hear your take on if they've fixed any of these. I'll go through the bullet points.
What's
Sure.
the mixer?
Bullet point 1. Games are too repetitive / all games are the same. Formula, get started, beat 8 gyms, trial captains, defeat evil team, become champion.
No, they didn't change this. Well, you said that.
Didn't they remove the Elite Four?
Yeah, there's no Elite Four.
There's no
like I
Elite Four,
mentioned
so
before.
instead of defeat evil team, it's boss rush. That's the only change.
No, the Elite
Yeah.
Four is not the evil team.
Oh,
The Elite Four is the fight them at the end before you fight the champion.
I got it, so.
They're the arguable good guys.
Right. Sure.
Welcome to the channel Ballpark 6. Alright, games are too easy.
It's pretty easy.
I've heard
Like,
from
here's-
some that this might be the easiest Pokemon game ever released. What
They
is
said that about
what
the
is your
last
thought
release.
on that?
I think X and Y is the easiest Pokemon game ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's
No,
a pretty
no question.
common opinion.
I believe I've just from what I've seen from this game looks really easy. So if X and Y is easier,
You didn't play X and Y, did you?
I
I
haven't.
did play that one. I can tell you. That one is the epitome of mash A to get through.
Actually, I don't know. Since the experience share is optional in that game, I don't know. It's
think it
I
is
mean,
one.
you could optionally potentially make it almost difficult.
yeah. It's X and Y is still pretty easy without experience share. So there's that.
GG. Alright, this is in quotations. Game Freak is running out of ideas for Pokemon designs.
That's just not true.
We got the apple. I also love the apple.
I actually haven't seen too many of the new Pokemon in this game.
I like a lot of the new Pokemon.
At
What is
first I
the-
hated them, but now I'm
Yeah,
warming up to them.
What do you remember that the Pokemon that was in like Pokemon Go? Is that in there?
Which one?
Melmetal and Meltan are not in this game, but they're in Go or in Let's Go.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, this
Interesting.
generation does have the worst designed Pokemon in the franchise. And that is the Green Goblin.
I actually kind of like Grimmsnarl.
You
I'm
go
not
to
gonna-
Piffle.
I think Eskew was a terrible design. I think that's the worst design in this game. The penguin with the ice on its head.
Oh, that one's fine.
That one's like middle of the road for me. I don't
I think
get
it
it,
sucks.
but I also don't hate it.
Alright,
Like,
Yeah, this is
okay, they're just
entirely
being goofy, right? Please.
What'd you say?
but the Apple Flapple line is fantastic.
It
Yeah,
is.
I actually like Applin and Flapple.
And the one that's a sofa, unbeatable.
Cindy Scorch is cool.
Also, what's the fish that's really broken? I kind of like that design too.
Dracovish?
Yeah, Dracovish.
That's the only fossil design that I like. The other one's trash to me.
Oh, aren't the fossils just like I guess chimeras?
You like fuse them, yeah. They're like chimeras.
Actually, I really like that idea. It's perfectly silly.
I like the idea, but I hate the design that they went with.
Oh,
That's just me. Entirely subjective.
What? Oh, what's the one guy that's like made of a bunch of things that are like attached by like a ghosty substance? What am I?
Rune Rodriguez?
Uh.
Can you describe more?
It's like he's like made up of these like white and red fragments with like patterns on them.
Rune Rodriguez.
Yeah. Isn't
Yeah,
like the evolution like path for him
Difficult?
like really weird?
No, you're probably referencing Alpharad's video. It's not that hard. You have to bring its prior evolution to like less than 40% health, and then
Hey,
run
you
under
insert copies.
this like structure in the wild area. Granted, how would you know that? But except for Google, I don't know. But it's not as bad as Alpharad made it seem. You just get a focus
did I tell
dash and then fight something and then run under that.
That is bizarre. Is there
Yeah.
any way
That's
in
like
the
worse.
game to find that out?
No.
There's a Pokemon in the 3DS game. I think Gen X and Y. To evolve it, you have to have the DS upside down when it levels up.
Inkay, yeah. Gen 6 is where they started all these weird evolutions.
hell?
Inkay, I don't know if you have to do this in Sword and Shield, but in order to evolve Inkay and X and Y, you have to turn your 3DS upside down when you level it up. I'm pretty sure.
Dang. All right. My last bullet point on this list of yours was competitive battling is stale.
Doubles, no. I think Dynamaxing is a really fun feature that freshens up double battles. Single battles? I don't know. I haven't really tried singles, but I hear it's pretty broken.
No. There is one
What do
advantage
you-
to Dynamax over Mega Evolution, and that's that you can apply it to any Pokemon.
Yeah, it's any Pokemon can Dynamax.
Okay, by the way, and here's your list of suggested ways to improve Pokemon. Pokemon MMO, open
think
world
I was-
Pokemon game,
Okay.
difficulty settings, one game that encompasses all regions, bring back old features, LMAO.
Well,
Yeah, I mean-
a couple of those suggestions are just bad.
Yeah, I think I was parroting some other people's opinions and talking about like what I agreed or disagreed with. I don't remember what I said for how to fix that presentation, but yeah.
You also said change gyms / trial captains formula. Change the types of the starters.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be
change
fine.
the entire structure of the core game.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Get rid of EVs, IVs. Be able to reallocate IVs at the end of the game.
I personally think Game Freak should get rid of IVs. That's my opinion. EVs.
Let's just
Eh.
morph EVs and IVs into one and let you just move them around. I don't know. I don't play
Sure.
competitively, so my opinion doesn't matter.
EVs are just like a they're just like an unnecessary step to get your Pokemon competitive. They should just get rid of it, in my opinion.
I mean, the idea is obviously they want if you catch two Pokemon, they don't want them to be exactly the same, right?
Yeah, I know that's the idea. It makes competitive. It
Right,
makes
I just
beating
don't see why.
competitive really hard.
I don't see why they need IVs and EVs to do that.
Yeah, okay, so I used to be like kind of on board with IVs, and then I decided I wanted a competitive Metagross, and that kind of changed my mind a little. Because
It just takes
you
so
can't
long.
breed Metagross with Metagross, you have to get a perfect Ditto, and then I looked into how to get a perfect Ditto.
Oh my!
Oh, I didn't
Dummy
mention
and-
this. I forgot to mention this. The Pokemon you get in Dynamax, in max raid battles, excuse me. They're like guaranteed to have perfect IVs or some stats that are perfect. And you can get Ditto in some of these raids. So they made it easier to get perfect Dittos. Well, Dittos with perfect stats. So that's a good
Well,
thing.
they kind of did that in Gen 6, because it's they have the Friend Safari in Gen 6. You just need to find someone who has a Ditto. And I think
Yeah.
Friend Safaris are guaranteed 2 or 3 perfect IVs. I can't
I don't know.
remember.
They hide that behind a lot of cloak and dagger, and I get why. I don't know, I just feel like that's an outdated system.
Mhm.
But again, that's me, not competitive player.
Yeah, I mean, I like get it, but I don't, because like, you know,
It just
it won't take
sounds
long.
ridiculous.
It won't take long for people to figure out exactly what it is and have all the everything.
Well, I mean, the 8-year-old playing the game isn't gonna figure it out. They're not even gonna know to
Does
look
the
for it.
8-year-old
and
playing the
that's-
game care about IVs?
No, which is also why I don't understand it. But that's who they're trying to hide this information from. You know, they want
Yeah,
to
I really think it
preserve
is
the magic,
tried
right? Like Santa
from
Claus.
the 8-year-old. Like, I think that's part of why IVs exist, is for that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true, to make them feel like, oh, like, you know, my Pokemon's a little different. Right?
But I think EVs is effective enough at doing
EVs are
that.
kind of a, yeah.
Well, I guess any final words you want to say?
I didn't even talk about the national decks.
Yeah, let's talk about
Can we?
Let's talk about the
decks.
national decks.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring up the exact quote to what Masuda said as to why he couldn't bring every Pokemon in this. There are a couple of different parts to the thinking behind it, but really the biggest reason for it is just the sheer number of Pokemon. We already have well over 800 Pokemon species, and there's going to be more added in these games. And now that they're on Nintendo Switch, we're creating it with much, here's the infamous line, higher fidelity with higher quality animations. Remember that. But even more than that, it's coming down to the battle system. We're making sure we can keep everything balanced and give all the Pokemon that appear in the games a chance to shine. We knew at some point we weren't going to be able to indefinitely keep supporting all the Pokemon. I agree with him on this, but I'll get back to that. And we just found that Sword and Shield would probably be a good point to go back and reevaluate what would be the best selection of Pokemon that appeal to the widest audience, while keeping into consideration the balance of the battle system.
Wow. The
It isn't-
widest audience, and
The
they dropped
widest audience, huh?
starters.
They dropped the starters and I'll
They can't say they're
continue.
Kanto pandering anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of. Oh, yeah, never.
They kind of are, yeah, because
Just
Charizard got a
Charizard
G-Max.
and all the Galarian forms, right? But it's just so weird to me because like Pokemon Let's Go exists. All the work was already done for them.
I mean, they future-proofed the models in X and Y to use them in other
Yeah,
games.
and it's been ever since the game release, it's been demonstratively shown they're using the same models.
Yeah,
Yep.
but you know,
They
I know
probably
there's
touched up the lighting and stuff, which I'm sure takes a ton of work.
Yeah, it does. I know there's more into making a Pokemon besides the models before Jake slays me. I know.
We've had this discussion. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Of course, modders have already put forbidden Pokemon in the game. Find that
Yeah.
kind of silly. Just the ones from Go.
Where was I? It isn't going to be all new Pokemon in the Galar region. There's still going to be a lot of favorites that fans will be able to bring over that they've adventured with previously. But yeah, it was pretty much just balancing and getting this optimal selection of Pokemon for the adventure we wanted to provide. Okay. So when Masuda said that they were cutting the Pokemon, first he dropped this at E3. He didn't give this explanation at first.
And he also
he just
offhandedly said it in a Treehouse Live event.
Yep, he offhandedly said it in a Treehouse Live event.
And only in the United States.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Japan never got the announcement.
yeah. I heard the Japanese audience was pissed about this, by the way.
Oh, they were.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them thought it was a translation error from Japanese to English to Japanese.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what Masuda should have did was tell us how many Pokemon were going to be cut at bare minimum. Because when we found out,
they never told us.
they never told us. We found out through leaks, and when we found out, the internet, it was a complete crap storm.
I mean,
Okay,
there's
we
no
found
good way
out-
to say that, right? Like,
There's no good way. I mean,
so many people thought it was going to be like a small amount, but if it was a small amount, they just finish it.
I said at bare minimum there would be 400, and I was
you were
right.
close.
And then there's
I
400
was-
Pokemon in this game.
I was thinking 30 to 40% would be gone, not like 60.
Not like yeah, they cut 60% of the Pokemon.
Pokemon
That's
Snap.
so much worse than I thought that they would do.
That's what.
Because
that's
I
the
was
thing.
I thought people were overreacting. I'm like, oh, they're gonna cut like the bottom 20% of Pokemon that no one cares about. Like, it's gonna be whatever.
That's what we all thought.
But that's not what happened. It just seems like they picked Pokemon at random and slaughtered them.
They cut all of the starters besides Charizard, and if you count Pikachu and Eevee, I mean, I guess they are starters.
Of course,
They
would be the
cut
same.
fan favorites like Scyther, Heracross, Garchomp, Houndoom, Luxray,
Oh my god.
Jigglypuff.
gone. Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff, yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, Jigglypuff is huge. That is a Pokemon icon.
I
It's like
can't
cutting
believe
Meowth.
they did. Yeah.
Yeah, Jigglypuff's like one that like your grandma might recognize.
Like it's below Pikachu and Eevee, but it's like Meowth tier, you know? Like people
Yeah.
know it.
Jigglypuff is for sure Meowth tier.
it's a Smash Brothers.
And
character.
I like Jigglypuff a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Garchomp a lot.
Garchomp's cool.
I like Scyther a lot. You know,
Scyther
When they-
because Scyther is like the only Pokemon that knows false swipe. I'm sure you guys will tell me there are more.
there
like-
are plenty more. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
like
no, there's a
the
lot.
one I always picked in Gen 2 to do all my low level catching because false swipe, you don't kill the Pokemon, you leave them at 1 HP.
Right. You're gonna need a new false swipe user then.
Is Bidoof in?
No, it's gone.
That would
Didn't
be
they
rude.
make a Galarian Bidoof or something?
Yeah.
They made Galarian Zigzagoon.
Oh.
That thing is cool.
Yeah, people.
I remember in Gen 3 when I was young, I would get a whole team of Zigzagoons and just run laps around the map just to use pickup. I'd be fishing for that Master Ball. I don't think I could actually get.
If they're higher level, you get a.
Yeah, they were all like level 6. I would catch them at the beginning and do it. Anywho,
Anyway, yeah, Masuda's Thanos. He cut over half the
Snapped
Pokemon.
them.
It's pretty insane. He snapped
he
them out of
blipped them out of
existence.
existence.
Yeah, and his excuse was higher fidelity and higher quality animations.
'Cause the
Okay.
double kick.
Yeah, okay. Let me just get this out there. Some of the animations pretty good. Okay.
The Dynamax moves are cool.
Yeah. Cinderace's Pyro Ball, great animation. For example, but there's a lot of animations that are just pretty trash, like Scorbunny using double kick or Yamper using tail whip. I think that just kind of shows Game Freak's incompetence when it comes to animations. Sorry to say that. They could have did a lot better job with some of these animations.
I mean, I don't know. There's some sort of leeway you have to give them with jumping to a new console the first time they've done a console game, right?
Yeah,
And
it is.
there's a
It
different
is.
standard on the DS than the home console. They've been pumping out a game every year, so it's not like they have
But my
time.
argument
That's kind of
against
their
that
own fault.
is that they could hire people who are, you know,
Hire people well in advance because you're the most profitable franchise in the history.
yeah, like, yeah.
Or do what like Call
Animations.
of Duty
What?
does if you're gonna do a game every year and have like
Yeah.
a rotating.
Mm-hmm.
They could do that. I'd be fine with a mainline series Pokemon game not developed by Game.
Just find it so funny that their other project, the one they actually care about, Town, flopped significantly.
Yeah, that
Spectacularly.
game kind of came out, and I didn't hear anything about the game after a
I
week.
heard nothing but bad things. People were like, "Oh, this is what Pokemon died for? This fucking sucks." Which, of course, people hated on it more because of the Pokemon thing.
And
That is
what
true.
if is there any chance that the next Pokemon game would be made by not Game Freak?
I highly
I
doubt
don't think
that.
so. I mean, we're gonna get the Gen 4 remakes next. That's most likely. And we
Maybe.
might get a Gen 2, like, Let's Go
Right.
in the series. And those will probably be. Man, imagine that Gen 4 remake doesn't have all the Gen 4 Pokemon in it.
That would be something.
It's probably just gonna be Gen 4, but like with none of that stuff after it. That's probably how that's gonna go.
Like, what do you mean? Like no battle factory?
Well, like
Battle...
all the Pokemon in it would be the ones that were in, say, Platinum. They don't add any from Gen 5 and up.
Oh, okay.
That's probably how that's gonna go.
Which would be progress, right?
I guess.
I
Like
think
having
this is-
everything from Gens 1 through 4, and then some stuff from 5, 6, 7.
I mean, I'd be happy if they like at the same time release an update. You could put those Pokemon into Sword and Shield. If they did it that way.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
aren't doing that.
They're.
Oh,
I think
and
the suit
Pokemon
that they're
Home.
doing- Yeah.
That's
Okay.
a big part of this. That's a paid service to bring your Pokemon from the DS to the Switch, like to your
Yes.
phone to the Switch. And like some of them, they just get stuck there. If they can't go on the Sword and Shield, they can't go back to the DS. And you pay for that. Like, what's that about?
Yeah, I believe this is the absolute worst time to cut the national dex. And I don't agree. Masuda said this was the best time. I think this is the worst time.
There's no good time. It's rip off a Band-Aid now or never.
Okay, but
I
like,
feel like
It seems like it could have been a good time if they actually like made the improvements he said they were making in Sacrifice.
that
But
is true.
They just didn't. I mean, some of it looks nice, but some of it, it just doesn't have.
I mean,
Oh.
Mushroom Town is
Like
fire.
when you try to hold it
Yeah.
up to like other Nintendo games that's been released on the Switch,
it's the Breath of the Wild and Odyssey, because that's Nintendo's big three, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's like compared to like Smash, Odyssey, and Breath of the Wild, this game does not have polish at the level of those games.
Completely agree.
Just not even close. And I haven't seen nearly as much of the game as Julian.
I mean, just the world stopping with ladders.
I mean, that's just I think that's just hilarious.
I don't think that's a big
I'm
deal.
gonna post something in the live chat, and this is the meme people just keep throwing at each other for Breath of the Wild, Odyssey, and Pokemon.
Well, I forgot what I was saying, but yeah. Oh, I think this is the first home console Pokemon game.
Let's go.
Oh, I'm not counting Let's
That's main series.
Go. People argue Let's Go was main series, but
Pokemon
I'm not gonna
Company
get into
says
that.
it's main series.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. I guess it is. But you
It's
know
a
what I
meme.
mean.
I don't know. It's like I don't know. I get what
Now,
you're saying.
I will like to point out, does this game feel like a better value than Let's Go? They are the same price after all.
Let's go.
See,
Have
Let's
the
Go-
partner animation, and like the Pokemon would follow you, and like, and they show up.
But isn't
I
there
don't know.
like nothing in that game?
I mean, you battle trainers, and then like they have the post game where someone has like a level 100 of a Pokemon, you have to beat them, and they do that with
Yeah, the
every
master
Pokemon.
trainers. Yeah. I mean, Let's Go was made for a different audience, so I'm not sure if that's a.
Yeah, they did say that, and they also said that this game was for the hardcore audience.
They did say that.
and they didn't let you turn off the experience.
Yeah, you can't turn off experience, sure.
Wait,
It's okay,
And
you can
it's
put the Pokemon
one
in
of the
box.
easiest Pokemon games ever released. Nice.
so I know this is a dumb question, and I already know the answer, but I want to ask it anyway. Is there multiple save?
No.
Okay.
What was the question?
Do you
Is there
expect
multiple
Game Freak to do
saves?
multiple saves? LMAO.
Oh my god. Well, with a Switch, inherently you do, because you can just switch accounts, but still.
LMAO. Oh, well, yeah,
I
you
don't-
can.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that's another thing. No multiple saves. 2 different versions of the game. That is so outdated.
Yeah.
What they should do, and I'm joking when I say this, they should make it so when you start a game, the Pokemon in it are just procedurally generated. So like you just won't know which ones won't spawn.
That's a good question. How many
You mean like a
Pokemon?
randomizer?
Yeah.
How many
people-
Pokemon died for there to be 2 different separate games? Real question.
There were over
What do you-
800 and there's 400 in this game.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, how many extra Pokemon died? You know, like if we're using like how many Pokemon were cut as a time budget thing, you know, and you think of okay, like having 2 games, separate games, useless feature. How much extra effort was spent on that? I mean, it probably makes them money because there are people who will buy both.
Well, there's text boxes they have to deal with, and they have to change some tables that decide where the Pokemon spawn. Probably take like 25 minutes, maybe half an hour. 'Cause,
Well,
like, the
don't
cutscenes
forget
are
about the whole
which dog
year,
does the animation.
the year of meetings to decide all that.
Yeah. Well, like, both the legendaries are dogs. They just do the same thing. They can even use the same rigs on them,
Yeah.
They're the same size. And
Yeah.
Yeah, why they should just let you choose. Like if they want to do the 2 legendary things, you could just like pick one. You know?
Yeah.
Actually have like
I
free
didn't buy this
free
thing.
choice once you see them.
Or just like have one, and then have like a bunch of others like they used to do. How many legendaries are in the game that you can catch?
Well, I mean, there's 2 depending on the version you get, but there's just Zacian, Zamazenta, and Eternatus.
That's it.
That's it.
Really?
That is it. Yep.
No Heatran,
Eternatus
no
is the
Giratina,
only other.
Yep.
no
There's
Ho-Oh,
no
Lugia, dogs,
no roaming,
birds,
no
Mewtwo.
trio.
Wow, and Eternatus
no-
sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's one of the worst designs in that game.
Yeah.
So they trimmed out the post game.
The post game is just you go around and fight these Dynamax Pokemon, and then at the end you fight Hop, and you catch the legendary the box. You catch the box legendary, and that's it.
That's
Eternatus actually just looks like
They should have just stopped at Gen 5. Jesus Christ.
a prototype model.
Yeah, I don't know about
It
that.
looks like the Ultra Beasts, which I really didn't care for.
I really like some of the Ultra Beasts. I like Buzzwole.
I mean, Eternatus is just if they took the Polygon fighters from Super Smash Bros. 64 and turned it into a Pokemon.
Kind of.
I haven't seen this Pokemon. Hold on, let me look it up.
It's I have it open on stream, but either way.
Oh, the stream keeps freezing for me.
So that's why you gotta move to Facebook Gaming, fb.gg.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll wrap up my review by saying, I'll give my stance on National Dex. I was pro National Dex, but I wasn't like on Twitter or Reddit like telling Game Freak to die because the National Dex wasn't in the
Yeah, that's
game.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, don't buy the game. That's all there is to it.
But yeah, I think those are most of my points. The one more thing I'll say is that Gigantamaxing, you can't do it in ranked, but you can Dynamax.
So
yeah.
they
Introduce
banned
the feature and they ban it. Yeah.
they banned it. I mean, they said they were trying to balance, right? So
But with the VGC 2020 rules, which is their official rules for like their tournaments, they're allowing certain Gigantamax Pokemon.
nice.
So yeah, right now the 2020 rules are different than the ranked rules, which is kind of weird. So yeah, final thoughts on Sword and Shield, because I've talked long enough, and hopefully I didn't go over a lot of people said / didn't, talk fast. They're average Pokemon games with a lot of design decisions I don't agree with. But you'll probably have fun with it, especially if you're a casual.
I mean, the open world, I've been told, is really well done, other than the N64 graphics.
The
And I
wild
did love
area
that
is
part where you would be, you'd have 2 pictures side by side, one of Ocarina of Time 64 and one of Pokemon Sword and Shield. You'd be like, which is which, and you couldn't tell.
Yeah, the wild area is really fun, except for some of the graphics. But okay, when people complain about the graphics in Sword and Shield, it's not as big of a deal as people make it out to be, because like other good games have bad graphics, like Three Houses. People slurp that game, and that game was like it came out on the GameCube. There's more to the game besides the graphics. I understand it could be better,
That's
but
the
like,
problem, is that people are
Yeah,
They're
Game
picking
Freak lied. Yeah,
everything they can do. They're poking out every hole they find.
yeah. I know Game Freak lied. That's the real reason why people are mad. I know, but I still feel like people are harping on the graphics too hard. It doesn't
I
look
agree.
that bad.
Yeah, outside the open area, it actually looks really cool.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
I think the game looks fine.
Yeah.
The animations are actually pretty smooth.
You mean like the battle animations or like the?
Yeah, it's battle animation.
I mean, there's a handful that are just like memes, but yeah, they're good in general.
Sure.
There's
yeah.
nothing wrong with some memes in the game. With that many Pokemon. It's fine.
How long until they go back to sprites and like the game like looks beautiful again?
Yeah, I actually prefer sprites. I used to disagree with you when you said that, but now like sprites definitely had more personality than the 3D models have.
Yeah, I think when I said it before, I was being specifically on the 3DS because they look awful on the 3DS.
Yeah.
On the Switch, they can look good. Like it's just how it be.
So any more questions, concerns comments? Are you guys buying Sword and Shield now?
No,
No, I'm gonna continue to not buy it.
I have to wait at least until Pokemon Home comes out.
Yeah, that's a
Just
good
like-
decision.
I mean, I want to get it because I'm also waiting for someone to mod the game because apparently there are doing that. They said they started to put some of the Let's Go Pokemon in that are forbidden and getting them working in the wild area.
Yeah, I saw that dude put in Amistar in the game.
Lord
Pretty
Helix.
cool. Yeah. But I mean it's obviously not working, but models are attempting to put in Pokemon.
Yeah, they got the Bethesda strategy. Just wait for someone else to make the game.
Yeah, Pokemon 76.
I mean, it can't be that bad.
It's not as bad as Fall 76.
The worst you can say about Sword and Shield is it's out of touch.
Yeah.
76 is malicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Game Freak is actually actively trying to screw people.
I think there's a lot of truth to what they're saying, and that
I think they've gotten
they
complacent.
can't put all the Pokemon in. But that's kind of also their own fault.
It's their own fault for introducing this feature that's been in the games for this long, and as fans we expect it to be in the game, especially since their slogan was "Gotta catch 'em all."
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that gets me. That's literally the conceit of the game, catching all the Pokemon.
Yeah.
And they're taking what for a lot of fans was the point of the game and
Well, I'm not sure I agree with that because you catch all the ones in the new game and then you just port in all the ones you had from the old game. Is that step really necessary? Because now you can put them on Pokemon Home and then you'll have them there.
So the game sucks.
Yeah,
Whoa.
pretty much.
It's
Alright, good talk.
Yeah, I ascribe to the National Dex thing was the National Dex was the straw that broke the camel's back.
yeah. Oh, I mean, I didn't give the history of fans of Game Freak removing features of from Pokemon games, and fans just being mad with them, and the National Dex being the final straw, which kind of tore the community apart. I didn't go into that. That's another story.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it a bit on the podcast
Yeah.
before.
But what we haven't talked about, Curry Dex.
Oh, I barely use Curry.
What?
I didn't even talk about that.
What even is that?
You
can
make
make
curry
curry.
and eat it with your Pokemon.
Oh
and the camping,
yeah, that is a feature.
Squirtle died for that feature.
Bro, they took out the starters. That's crazy that they did that. The Kanto starters.
You gotta give to him for that, because that's what the internet was saying. It was there's not a single Kanto Pokemon somebody gone except maybe I don't know, Goldeen.
I thought all the
And the
Kanto
seal.
Pokemon would be back.
Yeah,
I didn't
'cause
think they cut
they were
like
all in Let's Go, right?
yeah.
Like, oh, they're Kanto pandering. Nope. Kanto was hit as hard as everyone else.
Wasn't
Dragonite.
Gen 3 disproportionately hit?
Maybe.
I have to look again.
See, I feel like Gens 2 and 4 get the raw end of the deal a lot. Mostly because I like those ones.
2?
Wait on Gen 4.
I mean, Heart Gold and Soul Silver is like flames, but they
Good
the
games.
starters, they never got Mega Evolutions.
Yeah.
Gen 4, we'll see what the remakes have in store for them. Now it's a worrying about it.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we go into our final news topic of the night?
They
We have a
cut
final news
Salmon.
topic?
Yeah.
Yeah, we totally do.
Something happened.
Well, I got a pizza, so I'll be right back.
It's true.
They cut Ampharos.
Ampharos is
Salamence.
the fucking shit. It has a Mega Evolution. What? It's that fucking sheep. Can't have two sheep.
Apparently. Metagross. Luxray. Oh, my favorite.
At least we
Pokemon.
know that the people at Game Freak are not robots because they do not dream of electric sheep. I'll see myself out. Hello.
Hi.
Are you or a loved one suffering from the effects of mesothelioma?
Yeah.
Call
actually.
Wow.
Call 911. Wow, there's like I have nothing for a funny news topic.
Oh.
Let me scroll through the chat. We have like a month of things
Wait.
to fall back on.
What the hell?
They put Damon X Maka. They added the Witcher 3 characters, which is kind of strange.
What about we missed WWE being trash.
We talked about Riot.
Imgur launched a gaming app called Melee.
I didn't know about that.
TIL.
So Broly's pretty fire. Oh shit. We'll talk about that later, I assume.
I got nothing.
Steam started removing games all wantonly. Once the shovelware is now gone. I mean, like only like 100 of them, but 2K20 will go down in history as one of the worst games released this decade. They
Really?
stopped making TF2 stuff.
2K20, really? I mean, I know it's bad, but like worst game of the decade bad?
Like, yeah.
Alright, the only thing I can talk about is Death Stranding, which released to extremely mixed reviews.
That yeah.
All the way from this is a piece of art to this is the worst game I've played in years. The whole spectrum exists.
See, I want to like experience that game, so I have an opinion of it.
It just seems exactly like the type of game that would be polarizing.
There's a lot of great memes that have come out of it, though, with Kojima. Kojima's ego is maybe a little strong with this game, where he was like, "Oh, maybe Americans just aren't ready for Stranding type games."
That was a mistranslation.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's the actual translation?
I don't know.
I thought he said like.
But he did call this a Stranding type game, right?
Yeah. It's like he's pretty much trying to level up the walking simulator genre.
Right, but that's the real title for this genre, is walking simulator. But he's trying to say, no, this is a Stranding type game. Well, Anywho, this is another game that has a big exposition dump at the end of the game. So in a way, it's just like Pokemon Sword and Shield.
In a way.
I mean,
Not-
in both
not
games,
very-
you walk. In both
Mhm.
games, you fight a big bat, and in
Mhm.
both games, you get a big exposition dump at the end of the game as a reward for your actions.
So they're basically the same game.
They're basically the same game.
Got it. You heard it here, folks.
All of these apologist reviews, it makes it sound like it's impossible to make a game that's original and surprising without also being heavy-handed, tedious, and obtuse. I think that sums up the internet's feeling on this game.
I mean, for every person that likes it, there's going to be someone that hates it. And they're both going to be very loud. It just kind of depends on how many of them you see.
The sentence that I think that sums up Death Stranding the best is Death Stranding a game for everyone? Hell no. But then they're like, but neither was Dark Souls. But somehow people like that game a lot more than Death Stranding. By and
That's a
large.
terrible
It is
comparison.
a terrible comparison. Dark Souls is just hard.
Yeah.
To be fair, the original Dark Souls was pretty obtuse. Like,
Was it
there
a
was-
walking simulator?
Not obtuse in the same way.
I don't know. There was a few item descriptions that were just blatantly wrong. There were, like, to get to one of the areas, you had to go curl up in a ball in a bird nest for like 30 seconds, and it would carry you there. Like,
Okay, that's pretty obtuse.
and that place was optional, and then like the Hydra, if you get too close to it, you just fall into the water. Yeah, it's just weird things that really should have been ironed out.
Sounds like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Sure.
Alright, but anyway, I think that's all we got for you guys this week. Catch us
Tune in.
next week. We will be two things next week. On Thursday,
Three.
we'll of course be having the Game Awards. We are hosting it actually. They asked us instead of TV.
Yeah, Jeff Keighley
Instead
went
of
Instead of TV. It's a great honor.
All
they
of
cast-
TV. All of TV.
And also next week, we know you guys have been waiting for this for a long time. We've talked about Shenmue 3. We have shit on Shenmue 3.
Well,
we
it's
have
out.
praised Shenmue 3.
It's the worst selling game in the franchise.
Shenmue 3 is out. It's a disappointment, and we can't wait to play it. Tune in starting next Friday the 13th. You heard it right. Starting on Friday the 13th, we will
Oh shit.
be doing a Shenmue-a-thon. Playing... Well, and by that I mean we're only playing Shenmue... It's a Shenmue 3-a-thon.
And if we like it, we might go back to the other two. They sold
Where
better.
we are going to stream from Friday evening until we finish the game. We'll sleep. But... yeah, we're going to take shifts, and we are going to blast through Shenmue 3. We're going to try to play the whole game in one sitting, all on stream for you guys to enjoy. Get your buttholes ready. It's going to be a rockin' good time. Can't wait to see you all there. Bye. All right.